Right, okay, folks, welcome to another nice and nasty podcast. I can never remember what bloody episode it is, so I'm not even going to tell you what it is. It might be 33, it might even be 36, who knows, and doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm delighted to have a good friend of mine's. There's a lot of people that criticise the internet, and they talk about, it's people you meet online, they're fake and all that kind of bollocks. And whilst that is true, the internet is a place where you can make proper friends. And through the powers of YouTube, etc., I've made a small group of good friends. And this guy I'm going to be talking to tonight, I regard him as a good mate. Mark, how you doing, mate?
I'm fine, Alan. Thank you. Thanks for asking us on.
No problem. Yeah, it's. I think you've been on before. I think you were on a Chums Talk Pish, if I remember rightly, many years ago.
God, aye. Jesus,
that would be a long time ago. A long time ago. So how are things anyway? How are things with you? Are you keeping all right?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I've changed the channel a little bit. Stopped doing long plays. Just taking up too much time. Really, I'm just focusing on the Zap issues and playing the games and leagues issue.
What I want to do is we'll get into what you're kind of doing on YouTube at the moment, but just very, very briefly, can you kind of give us a wee synopsis of your history of video games? When did you first get your computer? What was your first computer? Was it your brother's? Was it yours? When did all that kind of when did you get an interest in computer games or video games, I should say? When did that start?
Yeah, I think the first video game I seen was in Tottenham in London when I went to watch my brother play for England in goal against West Germany. We went down with the school, and in this hotel there was a video game. I'm not sure. My mate Ian Taggart started playing it. It was a triangle ship in the middle. Can't remember the name of it. Well, definitely wasn't Asteroids, so it was before that. And I just thought, how the hell can you control something on a screen? That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting the Beneteau on the Atari 2600, VIC-20 with my brother, with Derek. Yeah, so then just all the way up,
It's interesting. It's always interesting because I mean, I would say our generation we're firmly the early adopters. I mean, I feel blessed that I was around when this whole thing kicked off. And excuse me, for people who are probably, I don't know, 40-year-old or younger, they'll probably wonder what the hell you're talking about. But we were kids before computers were a thing. We'd never heard of a computer. Other than like Star Trek, you'd see little lights blinking away. And then obviously when BBC started to show computer programs and these magazines started popping up, the home computer course, get this 16-part weekly home computer course, blah, 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 blah. But before that happened, we'd gone from like sitting with our family on a Saturday night watching the Generation game and It's a Knockout and all this kind of stuff. And then suddenly there was this new medium called video games. And my very, very, very first sort of recollection of it was there was a thing in the paper, and it was a local newspaper, and it was a picture of this wee boy. In fact, can you just about, I know this is a podcast, but you'll see there's a yellow.
Yeah.
It's, in fact, there's sitting next to it, it's one of these little, it's not LCD, is it LFD? I think it is. Yeah, LFD. Right. It was a little portable Space Invaders machine, and in this paper it said that this boy had been bought one. It said, his dad would go to the pub and he would tell his son that he was playing this game on a TV where you have to shoot like aliens, and he'd bought this, and this was what it was. This was what was going on, and then obviously going to for me going to the sports centre, I started doing judo for a few weeks. And I just remember seeing a group of people huddled around what I can only describe was a large unit, and emanating from this area was like these you're like, what the hell's that? And I kind of pushed my way through it at the front, and there was like, obviously there was things on the screen that were moving down, and there was a guy standing in front of it pressing buttons, and he was moving this image on the screen, and just like exactly what you said, we're like, how is that even possible? And I think because we were one of the first to witness that magic happening. I think that's
Yeah.
why you and I are sitting 45 years later talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a magical time, and it's probably like yourself, it's just all helped you through so much as well. You know, them Sunday boring nights before school next day, all of a sudden you had these flashy things to play with and making noises, and you didn't have to watch Esther Ranson anymore.
What
Really?
I always find quite interesting is there was sort of like three types of people. Well, there was two types of people at school. There was the hip, good-looking guys and girls. They were going to clubs, and they weren't interested in computers. Then I wouldn't regard myself as a geek. I was a want-to-be hip person. I would go to the pub and go to the disco and all that, but the girls didn't look at me. But I would come home and play computer games. And then as we got older, all my kind of friendship group. In fact, when I actually think about it, almost every single friend I've got, apart from there's a handful, I've probably got to know through computer games.
Yeah.
You know?
I think there's only one or two friends where from the past that I would contact now and again, but most people I talk to now is people like yourself and chatting on streams.
Well,
you know,
well, that's so fast forward like 40 years, it got to a point where I was probably one of the only people that sort of stuck with computer games. Yeah, my mates got the PlayStation, my mates got the Amiga, my mates got a PC. And then I said about 20 odd year ago, a guy that I was on this Jeff Minter forum, and this guy put a post up saying that he had about 50 computers and he wanted rid of them. Does anybody want them? So I put my hand up and said, "Oh, can I get one, please?" And he sent me a VIC 20, and he sent me a BBC Master, and this would be 2001. And excuse me, I remember they arrived, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this? A BBC? I've got no way of loading a game for it. I mean, it's like I've got this relic from the past, which I can't do anything with. And I think I plugged it into my TV and I tuned it through the RF, and I typed in, print Al go, or Al is a jobby, go to 10, run whatever it was, and that I think that was as far as it went. And then eBay came along, and I thought, I wonder if you could get a Commodore 64. Went on Commodore 64, £10. Oh, I'll have one of them, £10. Yeah. Oh, I'll get a Spectrum. Oh, I'll get an Atari. And then woof, here we go. 20 years later, I've got, I wouldn't say I've got hundreds. I mean, I'm now trying to downgrade my system, but I kind of stuck with it, and obviously you did as well. And through YouTube, and yeah, well, let's be honest, it is through YouTube. You suddenly realize that before like social media and YouTube existed, you were were you still like how long ago have you been watching YouTube? I mean, how long have you and I known each other? Maybe 5-6 years.
I think I came across games on YouTube about 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that was a thing. Actually, I just typed in Bruce Lee for some reason, and it was John Gage who came up. And
it was. Does he still do videos, by the way?
Yeah, I think I still get the posts coming up. Yeah, he's still doing his videos.
Right. He done something like 15,000 videos, I think, in 1 week. He's done a ridiculous number of videos. Bloody hell!
And then I started to see other people who were commenting. I said, "Oh, is this person? Who's that person?" And I started to watch different people, and yourself was one of them. And I think the first interaction I had with you is, I think you were doing comparisons. I think it was, and I suggested that you do a Dan Dare comparison on the 8-bits because they're all different games.
Oh, yeah, I do remember. I remember that actually.
That's the first time I sort of commented on your channel.
Yep. And is that how you got to know like Ox? Through
I think Ox popped on, commented on one of me videos, and because I lived in Oxford for so long, I thought, does that mean he's from Oxford? So you know what I mean? And he says, no, he's from Sunderland. So,
so see before you started going into YouTube and looking at Bruce Lee and whatever, were you playing these old games?
I'd say once every 3 months, I'd get the urge to get the Commodore 64 out.
So you still had the original. So it was all original hardware at that point.
Yeah. I've still got them.
Yeah.
I've still got 2 bread bins and 2 64Cs.
Oh, nice.
We've original bread bin. It's something's wrong with it. It comes up on the screen. It's just like green bars going across. My 64C, which I took down south with us, that's battered to bits, but I'm not trying to fix that because it's part of, like, when I lived on the streets and stuff, and it came with us, I took it with us, as like a Dumbo's feather. And I've got another bread bin and a 64C, which is like what I use really if I want to play.
Apparently the 64C is the more reliable of the two. That's what I've been told.
I've heard, is it the pole packs can burn them out or something like that? I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I've got multiple ways of playing the C64 games. Like, obviously, I've got the Mister, and I eventually got my Ultimate 2 thing, which is fantastic. Right. I mean, I think it was about 170 quid, but it's awesome, absolutely awesome.
Right.
But yeah, I've got a 64C underneath my TV, and I did buy a new power pack. I think it was about 30 quid. Because apparently that's the most common thing to destroy a C64 is the old power pack. But so anyway, so when did you decide? When did you sort of decide? You were watching people like John Gage, and then you started watching me and that as well. At what point did you decide? Oh, I think I'll start making videos. When did that kind of come about?
That was not too long after. I tried to find out how to do it. I just thought it'd be just a bit of fun, really. Just a bit of fun. I think the first video I'd done was Android 2 on the Amstrad, because I like the way in the introduction where the title screen you could change the trees, you could change the transporter thing that you came out of, you could change something else. I can't remember what it was anyway, but you could change a few different things, so you could change it whatever you wanted it to look. So I thought I'd sort of talk about that, and I haven't got them videos anymore. Them are gone, well gone.
Because you had. What was your first channel? Was it not always 20th Century Gaming?
It's always been 20th Century Gaming. I've had to shut it down twice because of a professional reason. That's
the only slight downside to. And I would say that to anybody that's thinking about making a YouTube channel. You have to be aware that it's out there. Once it's out there, it's out there. I know you can take your. I mean, this is not a boast, but if I type in MainMeister, it'll come up with like 5,000 different fucking links to videos and shit. It's like, and if I was to decide one day I wanted to remove myself from the internet, it would be absolutely impossible. But I think I mentioned. I mean, I have mentioned a few times. I had an instance. Oh God, it's a long time ago now. I'm trying to think when it'd be. Probably 2017, something like that. I had moved jobs. Well, it was the same company, but I'd moved in a different position, and I kind of tied in with engineers and cleaners and all this sort of stuff. And there was a couple of guys. There was a couple of guys who were engineers, and they were wankers. They were actually quite not very nice people. Anyway, this one day, I went to a site, and one of the managers goes, here's MainMeister. And I'm like, how do you know that? Oh, I saw you on YouTube. What? And what had happened is I had been speaking to a security guard at one of the buildings that I looked after, and I'd overheard him talking about a Commodore 64. And I said, oh, yeah, in the computer. Oh, yeah. And we started talking, and I told him that I had a YouTube channel. I says, look, do me a favour. Keep it to yourself. I says, because people are just going to take the piss out of me. And what did he do? He told somebody, and they told somebody. And then it ended up going round a few people, and these two engineer guys, I remember turning up in sight one day and it's, oh, here's Mr. Pac-Man. And it wasn't being said in a jokey way, it was being like condescending. And I just thought, oh, fuck this. So I got home that night and I took my channel down. I just took it down. And the sad thing was I had literally just hit 500 subscribers. And I took it down. And then one of my friends, Lactobacillus Prime, who's got a really good channel, Mark comes from Denmark. Denmark, he's Dutch.
Yeah, I've seen his channel.
Yeah, Mark's a lovely guy. Mark got back in touch with me. He says, listen, mate, he says, you know what? Get your channel back up. You know, fuck them. You know, stick two fingers up to them. So I brought my channel back, and it'd only been down about a day, and my subscribers went from 500 to 32.
Right.
But then Mark put a video out saying, let's get Meme Meister all his subscribers back, and quite a few people shared the video, and within a couple of months I was back up to 500.
But that's good. Couple of months, 500 there, mate.
Yeah. Well, it took me 3 years to get to 500, and then I lost them all, and then obviously because people
they came back.
I think once you realise that my channel was back again, they subscribed. But I mean, I would say to anybody, you know, don't listen to. You've got to have a bit of thick skin. I mean, I had a person a couple of weeks ago. I put up a video called what was it called? A ZX Spectrum clone, whereas it should have been called a ZX. Sorry, it should have been a Spectrum Next clone. So this guy goes, it's not a ZX Spectrum clone. It's not a ZX Spectrum clone. It's a Spectrum Next clone. And I went, all right, thanks for that, mate. Cheers, and give him a thumbs up. And then a couple of days later, he put, and you've still not even bothered to change the video title. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry. I says, I'll just drop what I'm doing and I'll go and change this video title off like a 5-year-old video. And then he then replied to me, prick. And I'm like, and it just got a bit, and I went, oh my God.
You just didn't know what's out there, man, Alan.
Oh, you're like,
no idea.
And I just said, what was it? Thank you very much for your, thank you very much for your constructive criticism. I hope you have a lovely day. Take care. I was being sarcastic, obviously. And then he goes, oh, you're a nasty person. And I'm thinking, I am absolutely not a nasty person. And I get quite upset when somebody describes me as a nasty person, because I'm not a nasty person. But anyway, he deleted all his comments, and my comments disappeared as well. But then the next week I was doing a live stream, and there's one of the subscribers. What was it she said? I love your channel, Meme Meister. You deserve millions of subscribers. You're the best YouTuber, the best person on YouTube. And I thought, that's why I do this, because it just takes one comment like that, and you go, that makes me feel really, really nice, you know. But
yeah, you just didn't know what's out there. I had to pull them down because I was a practicing counsellor at the time, and there was a certain client was somehow came on me videos, and I thought, no, I cannot have that. I cannot have that. Not at all. It's a cross. It's a cross. Like, it should be totally separate. So yeah,
and that's why obviously people. I mean, some people on YouTube and Facebook, they'll have like their name, but they'll have like, instead of Alan, it'll have AAAALAN. They deliberately misspell their name because for that reason, which I totally get. So anyway, Mark, just getting back on YouTube. So you decided. So how long have you been doing YouTube for? Many years.
I think it's this, like now it's 5 years. I think it is since I like come up.
It's only 5 years.
Altogether, probably is about 8 years.
Aye,
8 or 9 years. But this channel, which is not going anywhere, probably 5 years, I think. Yeah.
Do you know? Do you find sometimes people will, and don't get me wrong, I've come very close to like giving up YouTube, but I would never, unless something terrible happened, I would never delete my channel, because you're kind of, what's the point of doing that? But you know, my channel, my channel that has changed an awful lot in the last probably 3-4 years. I used to put out. I mean, when I first started YouTube, I was the first year I was doing a video every single day, but I wasn't doing it for anybody to watch. I was doing it as a bit of fun, like yourself. I was doing it as a bit of fun. I called it the Main Meister 10-minute mashup, and I would play a game for 10 minutes, and then it got to a point where I would do one on a Monday every second day, and I had my Friday waffle, and I would do one on a Sunday. I was doing maybe 5 videos a week, and then I would say in the last 7 years, I've got new interests. YouTube is one of them, and don't get me wrong, YouTube's one of these things where, and it's not to be condescending, but because like my YouTube friends are all online, if I don't do a video for a week, you're not going to be going, oh, I hope he's all right. I hope you understand that he's busy, he's doing other things. When my videos come up, you'll watch them, whatever it is. Whereas you interact with like people in real life. So YouTube's if things are maybe busy or whatever it is, YouTube's the first thing that I'll not do. So instead I used to get really upset about not doing a Friday waffle, but now I don't really care. If I can't do one, I'll not do it. It's as simple as that. And you've got to want to do it. But what you mentioned earlier on, YouTube has been a bit of salvation for me. We've all come through. We came through COVID. We've all had tough times. We've had times where you're maybe going through a bit of a breakdown or depression or whatever. Yeah. And sometimes just putting the computer on and you've got 20 people just talking and you're playing, and it's fantastic. And it
lifts you.
It is, and to go right back to what I said earlier on, yourself, and I'm not even going to start naming names because I'll forget people, but I mean there's probably a core of maybe 20 people that I've got to know through YouTube. And when I come down to Newcastle, you and I will tie up and whatever it is, and it's great. It's real people, and we're getting to, you and I have both got like boring day jobs. I talk about health and safety. When I'm playing a live stream, the only thing I'm worried about is trying to get past level 5 in Manic Miner. You know what I mean? It's great. You can just completely you become 60 years old again, don't you?
It's just a big, massive, lovely escape. Lovely escape. We're like-minded people.
One thing before we crack on with the actual podcast itself, I've got to say you are you're very, very, when it comes to picking games that you play, I know you said you don't do these anymore, the long play, you'll pick a game, and sometimes some of the games that you've picked are bloody horrendous games, but you're very, very tenacious and you don't give up. And I mean, what would you say are some of the proudest moments of like Commodore 64 games that you've completed? You've completed some horrific games, you really have.
Yeah, probably the ones that started off with, why did this game get this score in ZAP?
Like a bad game? Yeah.
Well, like I think it was Airwolf. I think, why did this game get a sizzler? Why did this game get a sizzler? What is it about this game they've given it a sizzler for? So I thought I'm gonna play it and see what it is. And so I started playing it, and then I realized actually once you get past that frustration, lack of patience, it is a good game. So I thought, how many more type of games is there like this where we didn't actually play enough? Because when you got copies all the time, you would only give a few minutes to the game.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't play it further than like if you only had 5 games, you would play them, wouldn't you? But we didn't say much of a game because we didn't give them much time, because a lot of the time there were copies that we had as well.
Yeah, really. And as you say, if they're too difficult, you would just completely gloss over it. That's too difficult. I think the best example I can make is China Miner. That was a game that I featured in. It was like I classed it as an impossible game, and at that point, I did think the game was impossible. But then it became a bit of a thing on all my live streams that I played China Miner. And the thing is, I now enjoy that game. I think it's a good game. Yeah,
I think China Miner is a good game.
It's balls hard, but
It's-
that's how it was.
But you just got to think it's a platform game where each screen, all you have to do is learn how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to do it and execute it while you're on that screen. Once you learn it, then you just got to execute the moves to do it. You know, so it's just like having the patience to learn each screen, and then the game's they're only difficult when you first start playing them, really.
Yeah. Do you think there must be some games that are probably impossible? There must be some. I know that you've got is it Squidge on the Spectrum where the guy had actually forgot to enable the keys so you physically couldn't play the game. But there must be some games. I've always maintained
definitely
that back in the 80s, there must have been people putting out games and they would say there's 24 levels, whereas the reality was there wasn't 24 levels because you get to level 5 and it's impossible. And back then we didn't have the internet to say, oh, this game's broken, whatever it is. But I reckon there must have been some games that
I personally think there was a game that was going to be close to getting included in the games tonight, but I thought no, because I still respect it a lot, and that's Spin Dizzy, because I think the controls are difficult, the gems that you've got to pick up, they sort of they give you some power, but it's that bigger game. I mean, you got to sit down and. That was going to be one of the games I was going to choose to take to Desert Island because you would need that amount of time to bloody play it, you know. But no.
What I was going to say, one game. Have you ever played Ghouls on the Commodore 64?
Probably in the past, but I can't remember it.
Aye, that's you'll need to look up after this podcast. Well, not tonight. Have a look at it. Ghouls again is one of these games where it depends when you start. There's this baddie that kind of moves towards you, and sometimes you've got 5 lives. Sometimes when you start on the screen, there is no way you'll get past. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. You should check it out. I mean, that would be a game I would probably class as. Again, it probably is completable, but you would just need to be determined and play it over and over and over again. Obviously, I can't not mention Thrust. Thrust is probably, in my opinion, it's between Thrust, Kickstart 2 is the best budget game ever. Yeah, it's a fantastic game, and you're actually quite good at it, I believe.
I've had a few goes.
Have you got the best rate? Have you got the highest score for it again?
I'm not sure. No, I did put it up for Twin Galaxies.
Only have a wee look at it.
About 7 years ago, I don't know. Maybe I think that they did put a video of us on playing it on Facebook, Twin Galaxies.
Did they?
On Real Hardware. I used the Real Hardware.
That's right.
So I think I just put a score up of 500. Really, which is only like 2 loops. I thought put a score up for people to chase.
500?
1,000, sorry.
I was going to say, right. I was going to say 500. I'm sure I could do that in my sleep. All right, yeah. 500,000. I
was thinking you play through Star, saying you're decent at it.
I know it's not as good as you. Once it gets that reverse gravity, what is the best version? BBC or Commodore 64?
BBC.
Yeah. Why is that? Because is it just slightly quicker processor a wee bit? It's slightly better, more reactive.
It's smoother. It's the scrolling's better when you're going down fast. It'll not just like chop.
Oh yeah.
Just you're going down and you stay down, and it's just better.
Aye. But the 64 one's a class act. Anyway, Mark, listen, what we're now going to do is we're going to get into the meat and bones of the actual podcast.
Yep,
what I've asked Mark to do is, Mark's, for whatever reason, reasons unknown, Mark is getting sent to Desert Island on his own. He's allowed to take 3 video games. It can be anything. It can be an arcade game. It can be a Wii game. It can be a PlayStation 5 game. It can be a mobile game. It can be anything at all. But bear in mind, these are the only 3 games that he will ever get to play again. So I'm going to ask you in no particular order, Mark, just to give me your first game and tell me why did you pick that game?
Right. Well, might as well continue this conversation. I think it's obvious that Thrust was going to be one. I wasn't going to pick that. I wasn't. I'm going to pick all games on 8-bit and most of them is Commodore 64 ones, just to keep in line with the channel and like what my channel is about. But Thrust, again, I've got Thrust when it came out. I read the review. I was due to go out on a Saturday night with me mates when you're a young kid. Clobber on, Rick Astley Blazers, everything, Curious off the shave on. And I started playing Thrust when I brought it home, and I did not go out. I played Thrust with my Curious on. So I was really addicted from the beginning. I think it's a game where, yes, I can complete, probably each time I play it, but there's something therapeutic about it as well. I love the way you use the orb. It's like a duo on the ice skating, like how they use each other's weight to spin each other around, and
the gravity, the physics of the gravity. It's clever.
So I love that. So it's not just a layup to take the pot out once you start getting a bit better at it. You sort of your partnership, the orb and yourself is like you use each other to help get out there. Do you know?
Oh, really?
So
you can actually use the weight of the orb to kind of help pull you out of awkward situations. Yeah.
So you've got to start experimenting with Thrust as well. You're not going to complete it if you just like using your minimal movements, because you're using Thrust all the time. So your fuel's going to be going down. So when you get to the later levels, you're not going to have enough. So you start realizing that if you just switch your ship a little bit, you know, thrust into the angle that you want rather than thrusting all the way down using your fuel. So you're going to be saving your fuel that way. And yeah, just 24 levels of loveliness.
And does it once you get to 24 levels, does it just look does it get harder, or does it just stay the same?
No, it's the gun turrets spit out higher ratio of bullets at you, so you're using your shield more. We'll see on the 64 version, mind you, which is one of the reasons I also prefer the BBC Micro, is the shield doesn't always work on the 64 version. You can have a full shield on, your fingers pressed down, but the bullets can still come through. And that's probably what I lose lives on the most when I play that, when the shield fails you.
So on the BBC, minor bug then, yeah.
On the BBC version, that doesn't happen. Plus, on the BBC version, you'll get a message after every completion for the first 3 loops.
Oh, really?
You get a little ship going across, and it'll say "I love space." Second one is I can't remember the third one either. But every loop after the third one, it'll just show you the third message all the time. So, but Thrust that.
Sometimes little Easter eggs like that. It doesn't have to be very much. It's just a wee bit
reward.
A reward, exactly. So it's always great when you see people who are really proficient at a game, they're able to dive into. They're able to I hate the word deep dive, but they're able to go into the intricacies of controls. And you're talking about that you're able to use the inertia and the weight of the orb to help you get out of situations. Whereas when I'm playing it, I'm just thrusting all the time, and as you say, but then that's what you get. The more if you've ever watched, if you've ever seen like Charlie Farr playing Donkey Kong or any of these, he uses all the little trips and trips. I'll start again. He uses all the little tricks and little idiosyncrasies, little bugs and all that kind of stuff to kind of help play the game. So that's wonderful. So that's a game that you would just you've completed it. You've got nothing to prove, but you just find it quite relaxing.
It's just relaxing to play.
It's a beautiful looking game. It is. I mean,
it's not my favourite Gravity game though. That's not my favourite Gravity game. But by the way, I wouldn't touch the Spectrum version. I wouldn't touch it.
Really,
it's terrible. The control of the orb. I've said it before. It's like taking a little puppy out of the park for the first time. It just wanders off and wants to sniff shit. You cannot bloody pull up. You cannot pull it back. You know, it's got a mind of its own.
Interesting.
It just gathers itself.
Yeah, you think that the Spectrum, because it's got a faster processor, you think that would probably be a better version. But I
No,
suppose was the original the 64 one? Was that the very
the
original game?
BBC,
Or was it the
BBC
BBC?
by
Was it? And then
Superior Software. Yeah. So
really?
it
Right.
was a full price game when it originally came out.
I didn't know that. And was it called
Ah,
Thrust?
Thrust, yeah. Thrust.
Got you. Right.
Jeremy
Okay.
Smith. The late
Excellent.
Jeremy
Right. Listen, we'll I'm conscious of
Yeah.
time, so we'll crack
Yeah.
on. A great first game. I mean, it's one of my favourite ones. Game number 2. What would it be and why?
Oh God, yeah. You're not gonna like this. Grain Barrier. Grain Barrier on the Commodore 64. It's just you're on the edge of your seat non-stop because you know you're gonna get killed any second. So for that adrenaline rush, that's why I never ever get bored of playing Grain Barrier. I could put it on now and sit there for 3 hours playing it. You probably know yourself that the shots from the enemies are just, you don't get any warning, and if it's close, so you got to try and play the game and think of different ways to do it. Hitting them in the shins instead of hitting them in the gut, so you've just got that time in case they shoot to be on the floor and miss their shot. Just loads of different tactics where you use your flares, which route to take. It's an amazing game. It's an amazing game if you're not too fussed about getting wiped out in the first level quite quickly.
Yeah, I did buy that game. I think it came in a big box, whatever it was. I bought it, and the second the game starts, you go there, and it's really atmospheric. It's Martin Galway absolutely nailed it. I mean, the title music's good as well, but yeah, and then you see the prisoners obviously tied up, and then you see the soldiers running past, and then it starts, and it's just, I must admit, when I first saw the game, my initial reaction was, oh bloody hell, it looks awfully blocky. But playing it now, I'm able to see past that.
Well, he hasn't got a face. He hasn't got any features on his face. He hasn't got no eyes, no nose, no mouth. It's just blank.
See, if you think about how, if you think about like some of the later games, like I'm trying to think, a game that I can't stand, but like the Untouchables, whatever it is. If you look at the graphics, because Ocean came up with the overlay 2 sprites. You've got the blocky sprite and then the overlay a black outline. It just makes the sprites look incredible. So I can imagine, if it's a pity we don't know anybody that can write Commodore 64 games, Nick Sherman. I can imagine if they did Green Beret now, they could make the graphics look brilliant. But that was my first reaction was, oh, it looks a bit blocky, and then secondly it was, fucking hell, this is impossible. And I never really played it, but because through the wonders of MAME, I've played the arcade one quite a bit. I do go back and play the C64 one, and it is balls hard. It's harder than arcade.
It is, definitely. It's one of the hardest games I've ever played. I got to the very end section, and I got killed on the very last section, and I was absolutely devastated. I had 2 lives left, and just it didn't happen. I thought, I'm not giving up. This is not going to do this to me. It's all about games bullying us, and I'm not going to get bullied. And I think a few games after, I got to the end section again. I thought, I've got to do it this time, because it could be months before you get to this part again. Of keep playing it, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And my hand was shaking. I think I said before, like as if I had some maracas in my hand. I'm not just like, is your hand shaking? You could see my hand shaking. I couldn't keep my finger on the button because I was that nervous. And that's why it would always do that if it was that game. That's why I would take that game with us as well.
Yeah. How many levels? How many levels does the arcade got, and how many levels does the C64 one got?
The 64 is 4. I think it's still the same. The Spectrum version's a really good port. That's closer to the arcade.
Yeah.
One. And that's the same. It's got 4 levels. Yeah.
Do you play the arcade one much?
No.
Have you played the arcade one?
Yeah. I've had a few goes. My mate Denny's completed it. You know, Denny from Del Boys.
Yeah.
Aye, Denny's completed it. He's pretty good at it. But I just like the brutality of the 64 version. Just
It is. I'm actually sitting visualizing just the. Yeah, I'm visualizing in my head right now. Yeah, bullet. They come running on, poof, and the bullets are just unless it's a bit like the second level in Aztec Challenge where you've got
God,
a duck
react.
and jump. You've got
There's
about
less reaction time.
0.3 a second to react, and
Yeah.
half the time you do the wrong thing. You're like, fucking hell. Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful, it's a great game. It's hard as nails.
That's why I would always be able to say I want to go. I could easily load that up every night.
So that would be when you've got your thrust for relaxation, you've got your green beret just for a challenge. So what would game number 3 be?
Pretty much, I'd say this is the same. I get the same feeling from playing this as Green Beret, but to shoot them up, and it's Uridium. I think that's.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's obviously it's a beautiful game, but that doesn't mean anything to me because it's all about the gameplay for me. But when you first play, I'll speak for myself, but when I first played Uridium, I thought, oh, I can't be bothered with this. You're crashing into that. I don't know where the next thing is. Wasn't it? Oh, I've just crashed again. But then slowly but surely, once you start getting to understand the dreadnoughts, then you start developing your own tactics. This is the original Uridium, not Uridium Plus, because I prefer it when you've got to wait to land. When you've got to wait to land.
I think I would agree. I think the second one has made it too easy.
Yeah, that's the one I bought with Paradroid Plus, the competition edition. But I like Uridium because there's so many tactics that start evoking in your head that you can sort of implement in the gameplay. You think, actually, this is starting to work. It wasn't too long ago when I completed it, but the game before that, I actually got onto about a half second away from the final runway when it said land now on my final man, and I got killed. That's a 29-second video on my channel. 29 seconds, and Paul Morrison was like, I don't know whether to congratulate or commiserate with you for getting that far.
So how many levels has Uridium
15 dreadnoughts.
15 dreadnoughts, yeah. I think. Sorry.
Yeah, so you can start using your tap waves and instead you go trying to guns full speed ahead, because not just because you're going to crash if you're not sure about where the actual the walls are and stuff, but just because the dreadnoughts, they'll kill you easier if you're going at a heightened speed. You've just got to choose your moment when you're going through I think each dreadnought's got a beginning, middle, and end part. You can't stay in the beginning too long, because if the land now comes up, you get the killer dreadnoughts coming out, which will just wipe you out straight away. So you've got to try and move, but you've also got to try and move with the right formation that's coming. Attack waves, so you've got to wait for that one where you think, right, I can travel behind this attack wave, because they don't come backwards, they always go one way, so you can travel with that dreadnought to try and complete the twisting round and stuff like that. And then you get at the final stage, and more often than not, if you try and stay at the top part or the bottom part, then you've got less places for the enemies to swoop underneath you, because you're on the bottom, so you're eliminating that from them. So you've just got to contend with just staying a little bit off the bottom or a little bit off the top, depends what dreadnought it is, and just trying to wait for the land now and shoot them away, and also try and keep the Uridium mines off screen as well. If you've got their little things that come out and chase you, if you've got their mines off the screen, then you're not getting any on. So it's trying to find a place to not have them on screen, so you haven't got that hindrance to put up with as well.
Again, it's just another example of Uridium, and I think everybody knows my thoughts on Uridium, and I'll talk about that in a second. But if you're prepared to actually put the effort into learning a game, learning the attack patterns, learning what prompts what, then you start to get more out of it. Yeah, I give up way too easy with games. I get too frustrated. I've always looked upon. I mean, if I was to say what is technically the most impressive Commodore 64 game, I think it would have to be Iridium. What I've tried to get Andrew Braybrook on at my channel, and he just doesn't answer my calls. He doesn't reply to text messages. He must throw my letters in the bucket. I don't know what I've done to upset him, but the bit at the very start when you get the little drop ship coming on, and then your ship comes out, and then see the speed that little drop ship goes. It doesn't even kind of go like boom boom boom. It actually it's blurred. It's like it's
getting yanked away. Isn't it?
It's almost like as if it's like 120 frames per second. I don't know how he's. It is. I mean, technically, it's beautiful. I just find it balls hard. I've not got the tenacity or the patience or probably the skill to kind of stick with it. I did buy the Hewson brought out I can't remember what it's called. Hewson brought out an update to Iridium on PlayStation 4, I think it is. And it's the same thing again. You've got it's just the little bits, the little structures that stick up that I crash into. I just find it frustrating. But again, you've just got this remarkable ability and skill to just stick with it and think, no, I'm not going to let this fucking game get the better of me, and you stick it. And I think it's nice to see that people like you are out there and that's why and we were talking about a certain YouTuber earlier on that you mentioned, and he's bad for playing a game for 2 minutes and going, it's a lot of fucking shite. And that's not fair, because it's not a shite game. It's easy to say that's a crap game. It's not a crap game. It's just that you've not got the patience or the skill to do it. You can't possibly play a game in 10 minutes and make a judgment on it.
It's like anything in life, and it's like getting in a car and be expected to drive a car for the first time.
Exactly. And anything, and that's the problem we've got nowadays with video games. Everything that holds your hand. You don't have to be a skilled gamer to complete a game now. And I keep saying this. I'm like, I'm like the old granny that tells you the same story and over again. You would never ever go to work and say, you'll never guess what I did last night. Oh, what did you do? I completed the latest Call of Duty game. Oh, fucking hell, do you hear that? He completed the latest Oh, bloody hell. Nobody gives a shit. But if you tell somebody that you one-credited Iridium or got the high score in Defender, you got 4 million in Defender, people are like, wow. Well, people of a certain age like me would go, fucking hell, Mark completed. When I see that you've completed Delta and you've completed whatever it is, that's a mark of respect. You know what I mean? That's something. That's bragging rights.
It's just patience in it. It's just patience.
But but you've got to be. I've seen some of the games that. I mean, I'll put a link to Mark's channel down below. Have a look at it if you want to see. If you want to see the end of games that you'll never ever get to see the end of, like me, then go and check it out. And if you want to see how to play Thrust, then go and have a look at it. But anyway, Mark. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to say 3 good choices. They're your choices, and I get why you've picked them. All I would say is I'm glad I'm not sharing the desert island with you, and these are the games I've got to play. But maybe I'd start to enjoy them if I had to play them.
Aye.
So anyway, now we're going to have to bring the tone of the talk down a wee bit. It's now the not quite so nice part of the podcast. Well, technically it is, because I'm giving you the opportunity to remove 3 games from history, and whatever these games may have spawned other games which will then not exist. So I'm going to let you pick, again in no particular order. Give me game number 1 which you want erased from history, and why.
Arvadesian Pet on the 64. Arvadesian Pet on the 64 by Bob Carr, who also done. Hold on, let's have a look.
He did something else.
Do you know what he done? He done. No. Oh, I'll tell you.
Oh God, my God! I'm going to write his name down actually.
Back to Nature, Forced Encounter, The Medicine Man, Weather of War 2, never heard any of these, and Stroker.
Stroker.
Yeah.
That's some
Time
adult
soft.
game, is it?
That is a
Bob
full price
Carr.
game. A full priced game. And it's not even fit enough to go on the Cascade 50. It is the absolute rip-off. How dare they? They should be proud. The Geordies, Tynesoft, making a game which is pretty well known as being a Geordie sort of comedy because of Oz and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So how did they not show some respect? How did somebody actually let that get released? How did somebody say that's $9.95? And this is before Zap. I love to know what Zap would say about it.
When did it 90? Now what you need to, for anybody that doesn't know what Alfredo Pet is, well, yeah, it's one of my favourite TV programs. It's a program that I watch every now and again. I'll watch the first 2 series because they were the best. It's about a group of bricklayers and joiners from all over the UK, predominantly from like the northeast, and they go to Germany and they work in a building site, and fantastic. But there lies the problem. Someday, Tynesoft, Mr. Bob Carr decided, let's make a video game based in it. And yeah, I mean it's like childish. I think the first what's the first level? The first level, Oz is the main character, played by Jimmy Neal, who some people may know as a singer. He's got to lay bricks. Now, the actual character Oz, is it not like a pie sign? It's just like it's like a computer generated graphic. It doesn't look anything like anything.
It's just like Loadrunner character.
That's been disrespectful to Loadrunner. At least that looks like people. I mean, it's just it is quite. I mean, I get why you've picked this one. It is one of the worst games. And what as you say, it'd be the easiest thing in the world. It would be easy to pick if it had been a type in game. I'd be saying, well, that's a wee bit unfair because at the end of the day, somebody wrote it in their bedroom. You can type it in. It didn't cost anything. This game came out, I believe, after Drop Zone, after Impossible Mission. Now you look at these 2 games. Look how incredible they are. This game came out after these, and it's not even, as you say, if it had been a type in game, you wouldn't have even bothered wasting your time. It is atrocious.
It's charge full price.
And it's not even just how shit the graph. I mean, you can't even describe it as graphics. It's fucking awful. I mean, I think there's the second level. Oz goes into a bar or in a pub. Now the pub is like a square. If you imagine the arcade game Zookeeper, it starts off like bricks and the animals are in the middle. That's what the pub is. Oz goes into this thing, and there's little pie signs dotted about the screen, and they're apparently people drinking. Go figure. And you've got to try and avoid them, whatever it is. And then I think the third screen, he's obviously drunk.
Whoa.
He's got to try and get home. But what it'll show you, it'll say these are police cars, something like that, and it'll show you where the police cars are, and you've got to, presumably, if you make contact with a police car, you get arrested. It shows you where they are. It then blanks the screen out, but it doesn't just blank it out quickly.
It's straight lights. The straight lights are dotted here and there.
Yep, and it says
watch and wait, and it takes
you've got to wait about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. And the last long play I seen, as soon as that opportunity came for him to be able to move on the last screen, he took himself under the car. Done.
So it is, yeah. I mean, I would maybe say it's an obvious choice because it is. It's probably the worst Commodore 64 game. Bear in mind, it was full price, and that is what makes it criminal. It wasn't. It wasn't even an early game. You could have got it if it came out in 1982 and Ian Gray had programmed it in 1982. This came out in 1984, and it was full price.
Fucking rip off. Sorry for the language.
Absolute car crash game. So yeah, that's you're not going to get any arguments on me from that one.
Second game.
That one, Mark.
Second game is I'm always going to stick with the 64. Probably a big letdown for me was Ghouls and Ghosts. Ghouls and Ghosts on the Commodore 64. Wow, what did I write? Did I write anything? Did I freaking write anything? It's so broken. The music that deserved a gold medal. I mean, Zap gave this gold medal. Zap gave it a gold medal.
Really, that's I'm interested to hear how you're going to talk this game out. They give it a gold medal. Yeah.
The controls of Arthur the Knight are just horrendous. Once if you shoot a lance and you're going to try and kill a dragon or whatever it is, you'll shoot, you miss, you shoot again, and the same shot is longer or shorter than the last one you've shot. He walks above the ground. He falls through the ground. This is not on the beginning, the sort of middle part of the second level where the ground is supposed to fall down. I'm talking about he's supposed to be standing on the ground, and you jump up on the next level, and he just fall through, and he's gone. He's finished.
Is that bugs presumably?
Yeah. Bugs.
So it was bugged. Yeah.
But they gave it a gold medal, and I didn't understand why. And I have seen criticisms about it. And I wish Nostalgia would make the Ghouls and Ghosts remake they did, arcade like they did with Ghosts and Goblins to fix everything, but leave the Tim Fulham music in it.
Who, out of curiosity, who reviewed it for that?
I think it was Phil King, Robin Ogg. So it was like it was later on.
So I was going to say, if I ever speak to Gary Penn again, I'll ask him what was he thinking. But so it was it was a later game. I think it was a multi-load game, wasn't it?
Multi-load game, and if you didn't get that dagger, the weapons you need really for level 3, you need a dagger on the ones where you're going upwards, you're ascending vertically, and there's like statues of swords sticking out. You've got to go up and then veer to the right. If you don't get the opportunity to get the dagger, which I think once or twice maybe I've getting it, you're not going to make it. That's why it's broken, and no, it's just not a good game. And it's such a shame because it looks pretty good. It looks not too bad.
I remember, I think it was fairly recently, you made a comment on either one of my videos or in Discord or something. You made a comment about how bad it was, and I'm like, are you having a laugh? And then you told me a few of the reasons, and I didn't realise that, because somebody who, again, I didn't have a Commodore 64 at that point. I had kind of moved. I had I think I was on the Amiga at that point. Excuse me. But when I loaded it up in an emulator, probably to play in one of my Sunday live streams, the first thing that this wins you over is the Tim Fullen music, and it is stunning. It's got like this rain sound effects. It's got the sort of bell and all. It's beautiful. And if you just loaded it up, you would just think, wow, what a game. That is incredible. What is incredible. But you've obviously, you're not doing a John Gage and just saying this is a lot of fucking pish. You've actually, the fact that you're able to get into like level 3 or 4 and say, well, it's broken because you're unable to get this particular weapon that's going to let you get past. You've obviously put quite a bit of time into playing the game, and then you're making an informed choice to say this isn't a good game.
It's very rare I would criticise games. Very, very, very rare. Because I always think people's put effort into them, whether that's under pressure because they've only got so much time scale to do something. But to show you what this person's capable of, who coded it, it's the same person who done Bubble Bobble.
Oh, right, okay, and that's pretty flawless, isn't it?
Stephen Ruddy.
Ah, yeah. So was Bubble Bobble? Did that come out before or after?
I can't remember. That's a game I can't stand Bubble Bobble personally. But I can say it's a good. I can say it's a good conversion. I can say that's like all the plaudits it deserves. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it's not my type of game, bubble. But you can say that he is capable of doing something. So was he under pressure but he knock someone out quick? Do you know what I mean?
that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, you know, when people talk about, oh, what is the worst game ever? Oh, Pac-Man in the 2600. Is it bollocks? I like Pac-Man in the 2600, but then what you need to understand is that I think that guy had like 2 weeks to write Pac-Man, and it's when you're not criticizing the guy that wrote it, you're merely just making an observation based on playing a game, saying it's not a good game because it's broken. It doesn't really. It's got bugs in it, and that's a shame. So what? Why would you take that to the? Why? No, sorry, you wouldn't take it to Disneyland. Why do you want that game to not exist? Was it like crushing disappointment or something? Was it?
Because it needs to be fixed. Because I think the potential of this person that coded it, who also have done Bubble, could have done a much better job. And I think this one needs to be gone, and he needs to give the opportunity to show his potential, which he's put out with Bubble.
Probably just been given the right amount of time to do it. So did you buy that? Did you buy that game then, Mark? And then you realise, oh fucking hell!
No, it was a copy version. I've played it on emulation. It's the same. So just a shame. I have seen comments as well on 1164. That's flawed and stuff like that. I mean, Ghosts and Goblins had its flaws as well, but Ghouls and Ghosts, you've got too many flaws, and half of them you shouldn't be landing on.
Aye, it's disappointing when a game. In fact, I'm actually completely changing the subject. I'm playing through one of my favourite kind of modern games is Dishonored. I've got it on my Xbox, and it's a first person, and it's great. You've got all these different. You can attack. You can send out rats to kill people. It's brilliant. But I'm probably 3/4 of the way through it, and when you get attacked, you get like blood on the screen. But what I've noticed, when you get attacked, the whole screen goes red and you can't see anything. And I thought, and you're continually getting attacked and you can't see what's going on. And I googled it, and apparently it's a bug. Apparently that's a bug. They're saying, it's called like the red screen bug. And because it's such an old game, they're never ever going to fix it. And it's like, fucking hell! It's it's annoying when a game has got. I appreciate that bugs can always get into games, but back in the day, back in the Commodore 64 days, you bought your cassette. If it had a bug in it, you were screwed. There was nothing anybody could do about it, and it was £9.95 is quite a bit of money as well. But
just spoils it, one.
Yeah, disappointing because it could have been, as you say. I mean, well, as I said, if the music is probably one of the finest game tunes out there, and it's just disappointing. Yeah, no, nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just before we move on to your last game, have you completed Ghosts and Goblins on the Commodore 64?
Yeah, many times. Yeah, I've.
I knew you'd say that.
I don't know. I think last time I played it, when I was on Twitch, I done 2 loops. But again, there's just the random elements that'll just wipe you out. No, this game's you can play it, and you don't even get to the first demon because of the zombies coming up all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Nostalgia fixed that, and I think Ghosts and Goblins Arcade on the Commodore 64 is just amazing. I chased the high score on that. Was it Twin Galaxies? Kermsey P, who comes on my streams sometimes, and he's got a load of world records. Of phenomenal player, and he always like says, "You better not beat it, you twat," and it's just a bit banter. So I live streamed it and I beat it, and he was gone mental. I think it was what was it? It was 4.5 loops. I think you got to do. What a game! What a game! Ghosts and Goblins is.
Yeah. So you've won. You can win credit now, then, can you?
Aye.
That's the difference between you and I, anyway. But right, anyway, two games I'm not going to get any arguments in. So last game, then, Mark. What's it going to be, mate?
Well, it's going to be one that if you ever get this person on again, you're going to ask him what the hell is going on.
I know what game you're going to pick. Is that a
You
certain
say them.
Richard? Richard, is it?
No. It's a certain game. It's called Thrust 2. That's on the Commodore 64.
Gary Penn.
Gary, not totally him. It's David Corn. David Corn. He's the coder for that. Who also done Corny. What did he do? Paul Corn. All Terrain Gardener, BMX Kids, and Arcade Classics.
Oh, right, okay. The one with like Snake and Space Invaders and that. Yeah.
The little cabinets on the title screen.
Yeah.
So what the hell was gone on the island? Just how can you take something like Thrust and then create something like Thrust 2? I wasn't sure if you were controlling a Dutch clog or the skeleton of Fingerbobs. And it was there.
And it wasn't Vector. It wasn't Vector. It was like full kind of sprites.
And Thrust, there's the type of game that needs to be Vector. It needs to be Vector. It needs to have that fine line that you can see for the contact against walls and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it seemed to be created in the world of Gribbly's Day Out. The way that you were flying about and stuff, you would think you were in Gribbly's Day Out. The terrain and stuff like that. You couldn't shoot. You had to go and get the shoot bars and the weapon bars and stuff like that. The control was terrible. How did they let that game come out? The title screen, Thrust 2, the green, like somebody chewed a glow stick up and vomited all over the telly. It was terrible. The music I didn't like. These people that start to like it now, but nothing to do with the music. It's the actual gameplay. How they absolutely killed the original Thrust, which is Thrust 2 is better on the Spectrum and it's better on the Amstrad. I don't know what they were playing at. It came out the same year as Solar Jetman on the NES, and it looks like that type of ship. So I don't know if they've been influenced. I don't know if they had time to see Solar Jetman on the NES, and the sort of says, "Oh, we'll make it look a little bit like this. We'll fill the graphics in." And I'm not saying that about Gary Penn's doing his graphics. That's nowhere near that, because to me it's the gameplay, and it's just not there. Picking the orbs up.
It's always disappointing where they have an absolute cracking game, Stonewall Classic, and then you hear they're making a sequel and you get really excited about it. I suppose with Thrust 2 there probably wasn't any like there was no screenshots. Oh, we're making a sequel. But when you went into wherever it was, Boots or John Menzies, if you're up in Scotland and you saw Thrust 2 in the shelf, you're like, oh bloody hell, I'm going to buy that. And then you get home and it's just disappointing because they've completely changed. They've changed everything, eh?
Well, there's that review. I mean, you've got to think Gary Penn's in close contact with these people. So if he's getting these people to review the game, it was in Zap 57 and I think it was 59%. I'm not too sure.
Oof.
But you can imagine, how did that stand with the reviewers? Probably because the new Gary Penn was the sort of a little bit biased. Makes us wonder if it was somebody else who was not connected to Zap, if the score would have changed. Really.
Mm-hmm. So I think probably, I think anything that was like under 60 was generally dog shit, wasn't it? I mean, 59 would be crap. It's interesting because Gary Penn, he was always, out of the three original Zap reviewers, he was always the one that was most critical. So it was interesting that he. If I do, and I'll hopefully we'll get Gary on at some point. I'll ask him. Yeah,
it's interesting how we understood what a good game is, because if you knew if Gary Penn's liked the game, that was most likely it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
So for him to have his name connected to this, and I'm not sure would Matthew Smith be involved? Would he have said it's okay to release? I'd love to know the history of like how it got released. If Matthew Smith, who was the owner of Thrust, Did he say it? Did he allow it?
Matthew Smith.
Sorry, not Myth. Jeremy Smith. Sorry.
I was going to say Matthew Smith. He did let Jet Set Willie and thrust him.
Aye, sorry. Jeremy Smith.
Yeah.
Did he have any involvement? Did he have to give the okay? You know.
I think you know what, back in the day, see when we were kids, or I was an adult at the time, but you always thought that it was like all really well organized. But the reality was, back then, the guy that did the original thrust, he probably had nothing to do with it. They probably just thought, well, thrust sold, I don't know, it sold 10,000 units. People loved it. We'll bring out thrust 2 and it's going to make an absolute fortune for us. And they didn't really care. I mean, yeah, it's sad. It's always sad. And the game that I always think about was, I still stand by and say that Way of the Exploding Fist is a definitive beat 'em up. I know that other people say that.
It is for me.
Other people will say will say it's, what do you call it, international karate. But I prefer. My heart will always go with Exploding Fist. And they started putting up all these images of Exploding Fist 2, and I'm like, oh, that looks brilliant. It's going to be a scrolling open big world. And then it arrived, and it was just like the scrolling. The guy would get to the end of the screen, and then it would go like that, and it's boring. It was glitchy, and it was like.
It got a bad review, didn't it?
Yeah, the only thing I had in common with the original was the name. You know what I mean? Right. So anyway, listen, Mark, I'm going to draw this to a close because I know you've got to get going.
Yep, I've got to put me the bloody.
Can I say that you're the most organised, nice and nasty guest I've had? I mean, you had all your facts and figures there. Apart from calling the guy Matthew Smith, that's the only, you lose a bonus point for that. But listen, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on here. You're always welcome on the channel anytime. Glad to hear that Nerg might be making a comeback.
Yes.
So if that's on next year, we'll catch up. We'll catch up. Yeah. And finally, folks, thank you very much for listening.